Can y'all let me know if we are 5x5, please? Can y'all see me and hear me? In other words, hopefully so. Should be live. Never know around here. Never know. We're going, Bama Jen. You Tigers fan. Thank y'all for the 5x5s. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I'm John. Yeah, it's one of these rare, random lives. We used to do this Monday through Friday, but Google, they don't like that too much anymore. So I'm putting my neck out there a little bit. I'm taking a risk. We were just live yesterday, me and Backwoods. Good morning, Maria. And I'm going to try it again. I'm rolling the dice here. We'll see what happens. Thank y'all for being here. There's a second live stream for Nation Plus members at lunchtime, noon Eastern Standard Time today. And stick around. Even if you're not a Nation Plus member, stick around this morning, because what I'm going to do toward the end of this live stream is I'm going to do a little bit of membership gifting. You know what I'm saying? As my way of saying thank you. It'll be done randomly, but some people get some memberships this morning, and it is what it is. Let's talk about shutdowns this morning, right? Lots to talk about. Thank you, Wanda. Loud and clear. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's see who's in the house. Jamie, thank you. It was fun. I'm in this weird spot this morning where I haven't had enough sleep, but the coffee hadn't kicked in yet. So yeah. It's gonna be a ride if nothing else this morning, right? Chief Prepper, how are you doing? We ain't done a roll call in a while. Cult Prepper, how are you doing? Patrick Bowman, how are you? Deb Woods, there's some new faces in here. Farm Girl, yes. Finally free to watch. Yes, absolutely. And let me see here. Shut down the IRS. That's what I'm talking about, Shady. That's a huge topic for another day. But yeah, shut them down. Dana, thank you very much. Backwoods is in here somewhere. I seen him. Seen him in the chat, so y'all watch out for him. Lord Eagle, what's going on? Dan one, Matt, how are you doing? Papa Bear, I need to get my eyes checked. Big Mama Steph, I keep saying that, but I never get them checked, so it is what it is. Nancy West, good morning. Outlaw Farms, a packing day here, leaving Maine on the 4th, Florida bound for good. You're going to Florida for good? If so, that's awesome. Although very hot and humid, I'm just going to forewarn you there. Thank you, member, for 26 months. Michael, what's going on? Our John Boom is in the house. Okay. No idea what that means, but okay. We're going to get into that. Watchman, I heard a rumor that the cell phone problem was done. I can't confirm it, but we're going to get into it pretty deep this morning. We're going to put a little aluminum foil on our heads. And again, I blame Backwoods because we had a conversation after the live stream, and he took me down a dirty, filthy rabbit hole. And I was thinking about it, brother, pretty much all night. So let's talk about the shutdowns, starting with the cell phones. Everybody knows, we talked about it yesterday. Cell phones have been down, not for everybody. It was a nationwide problem, but not for everybody. It seemed to hit or miss depending on carriers and where you were at. This led to a delay in the pharmacies and things like this. Absolutely, Two Wheel Prepper. Thank you for the support, and FJB. That old dirty hair sniffing clown. So this led to delays, which was a real problem for some people. Again, I don't think it was nationwide like every single pharmacy, but some people were reporting that yesterday. And about an hour after the fact, that an hour after people started to lose phone service, Fox News reported, take it with a grain of salt because, again, it's Fox News, right? It was a cyber attack. And they started to point the finger at countries outside of the United States. Trout and Dry, what's going on, brother? Thank you very much. Yeah, he is Papa's Farm, and I don't know why I'm collateral damage, man. I got collectibles too, but haters gonna hate. If he's in the chat, I guess haters gonna hate, right? Backwoods. So really, anytime there's a shutdown of any sort, there are three stages of a shutdown, the way I see it anyway. And you can apply this to zombies anytime something major happens. All right. Disbelief. So let's say, for example, people that are hooked on Facebook. God, I don't know why they would be. I believe so, Redfish, and we're going to get into that. That's an excellent comment. let's say somebody is addicted to Facebook. There's like a couple of hours of denial where they can't believe they just continue over and over and over to log in because they're used to logging into Facebook or whatever platform, right? They can't understand it. Netflix isn't working. Let's keep let's keep logging in. Let's keep logging in. So there's this state of disbelief. And again, I think with zombies, same thing, right? The food's running out. Let's say the food's running out in New York City. People are at first in disbelief when they walk into a store. They're like, "Oh man, there's hardly any food. Let me go check another store. This can't be happening, right?" Then the second stage is total shock. Once it connects in their brain, oh, I can't access Facebook right now. They just sit around in total shock. Oh, I can't get food that I'm dependent on in order to survive, right? Or, my cell phone won't dial out. What am I going to do? I'm so used to my cell phone, or I can't go to the pharmacy. And then the final stage, I think, is anger. They want to know whose fault it is. They want it fixed immediately. I pay too much money, Verizon. How could this happen? This sort of thing. So we're going to get into it. If y'all don't mind, man, like and subscribe. Help us fight censorship. And if you follow another creator, any other creator, even the ones who don't care for me so much, like and subscribe their videos and help them out. Appreciate that. So we are, again, we're going to have an interesting conversation. And y'all are going to be like, man, what are you talking about here, son? But listen, Coke or Diet Coke? I'm going to make it make sense. I'm going to try again. I'm in that weird spot this morning. Which is good for you, Coke or Diet Coke? Which one is the better option, right? A lot of people will say, well, Diet Coke, because it's diet. Coke is bad for you. Diet Coke, on the other hand, it must inherently be better, right? Because Coke bad, Diet Coke, right? They're both bad. That's the truth. Uh, yeah, Uncle Charlie says water, right? Arkansas living. How you doing, brother? Sweet tea. Neither. Neither are good for you. They're both bad. And you can apply this to the current events in our world. All right. It's an analogy, folks. We're not really going down a rabbit hole with Coke and Diet Coke, but it's an analogy. All right. So it's a fallacy, and we'll get into it in a second, but we're being told in mainstream media. All right. The president of Russia is bad. The president of China is bad. The president of North Korea is bad. Okay. I agree with all of that. I'm not on here beating the drum saying they're not bad people. I believe they are. I believe they're dictators. All right. But the fallacy is, it's called the either or fallacy for those that are interested. The fallacy is, aloha, how are you doing, Nick? Because these people are bad, inherently, our government and the UK and the NATO countries, they must be good, right? They must be the Diet Coke because these people are so bad. We must be good by default, and that's not true. Maybe they're all bad. Maybe all of these dictators are bad. Again, Putin, bad guy, right? Terrible leader, right? But at the same time, that doesn't inherently make Joe Biden a great leader. That doesn't make the leader of Canada, what do y'all call him? Sparkly socks. That does not make him a good leader. It's possible that they're just all corrupt and they're all bad, right? And we're being forced and kind of pigeonholed to choose one or the other. Why? Because conflicts need funding, right? Conflicts around the world, and we got plenty of them going right now. They need funding. They need money, right? Funding. What does funding need? All right, I'm gonna throw that to y'all and see if anybody gets it. What do you need to have funding? We've already got the corruption in place. Think back for a second to World War II. The idea of going into Europe and getting involved was very unpopular, right? So what do you need? You need public support. You need people to believe that they're on the right side of things, even though they're not or may not be. You know, and fallacies create public support. In the mainstream media, yes, Fox, yes, CNN, yes, MSNBC, they're all doing it. I'm seeing it all over the place. They're using the either or fallacy. They're showing you these people are bad, and they're trying to use that to drum up support, public support here at home. So we'll get on board with funding all this chaos. When the reality is they're all bad, right? So let's everybody with me so far, because we're going to spin it into a different direction here. We're going to go with another analogy because I'm a madman this morning, son, and I done lost my mind. Let's talk about addiction for a second. All right. What is addiction? Addiction is when you get used to a certain something. Just one example, right? Here in the United States, there are many examples, and you're just used to it. Absolutely, it does. Thank you for that, by the way, Jim Shady. Absolutely. Everything that you're seeing in mainstream media, I don't care if you're watching Fox, I don't care if you're watching CNN, it's all propaganda. It's all there to make you feel a certain way. And right now, they want you to feel like you want to get behind this war effort and be okay with they want you on the phone calling your Congress people saying we need to pass this funding bill, right? When you take a step back, makes no sense. We shouldn't be in Europe. We shouldn't be wrapped up over there. We got our own problems. But this fallacy is so powerful, people suspend common sense, because again, mainstream media. But anyway, thank you, Shady. So you crave, when you have an addiction, you crave what you're used to. You get used to something. Now, this can be something that's pharmaceutical. This can be a lot of different things, right? Jason Chapman, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. So think about the 19 for a second. We saw the same pattern, right? At first, there was disbelief. People couldn't believe the 19 was real. They couldn't believe we have a real pandemic on our hands. Hadn't seen something like this since the Spanish flu. And people dealt with that for a little while. And then there was a period of total shock. Again, it didn't help that mainstream media was running red and yellow banners, in all caps. People do it in the prepping community, all caps, red all the time. You know what I'm saying? Alert, you better pay attention. This is groundbreaking, right? But then after that shock was over, what happened? They were angry. Americans were angry. What happened to the normal? Where did it go? And you began to hear this in these propaganda terms, as Jim Shady was saying, in mainstream media, right? We need to return to the normal. This is the new normal now, right? And there was all this outrage. And then our president, sadly, thief in chief, as he's known on the streets, gets on television and points and directs this anger at a certain group of people in this country. Those who would not comply, those who were rationally thinking about things, right? He took, in other words, they created this anger with propaganda and they weaponized it against a group of people. And this happens time and again, and it's happening right now. Again, we're not dealing with the 19 anymore, but it's the same playbook. They're using propaganda. They're showing you photos of helpless people holding kids, walking through the streets and stuff of these bombed out cities. It's war. That kind of stuff happens. All right. But they're using that and they're building up anger and they're trying to weaponize it in such a way that you're mad enough that you are demanding that we fund this conflict in Europe. It is what it is. Sheeple, exactly. That's a huge name. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but absolutely. So many people are plugged in to mainstream media. I mean, it used to be the nightly news. Not a lot of people are watching that anymore, okay? But they're consuming it in other ways. They've got the apps on their phones and stuff now. When somebody comes out and they go against the propagandist narrative, somebody like Tucker Carlson, for example, or when Joe Rogan, who's also very popular, has somebody on his show speaking truth, they don't want you to see that. They immediately try and discredit it. Don't listen to this. Be focused on the rage. That's what's taking place. So I'm going to speculate this morning. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me see here. Red Dog. I don't have a tie, but what I will do is if we hit 1,000, which is unbelievable. Yeah, it's been a very long time. I will double the amount of memberships that I give away this morning. So there you go. In lieu of a tie, if we get there, who knows? So I'm going to speculate this morning. Some people get mad when I speculate, but it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the live chat, okay? About the statements and the speculation I'm getting ready to make here. Your own government may shut services down at some point. As much as we're being told, bad guys are heads of states in other countries, and again, they are. I'm not taking up for them, but the truth is the truth. We have a swamp here at home. Yesterday, Backwoods and I touched on this. We were talking about how he said, and he's absolutely correct. He said during the time of war, they want to cut out communication so your opponent can't communicate back and forth militarily, and that's correct. But also a lot of times what you see in war, okay, we hit it. I'll give out 10 memberships. Thank y'all very much. Maybe shoot a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. I appreciate it. But listen, governments have kill switches in place. Does everybody in chat know that? We have kill switches in place right now in this country, and they're totally legal. Uh, Not according to the Constitution, but they've drafted this stuff and they've signed it off and stuff. ENC Gunny, I appreciate that very, very much, sir. Thank you. Um, so yeah, we have kill switches in place. So if the propaganda doesn't work and they begin to lose control, they have the ability to shut things down. And speculation on my part again, um, I'm not saying our government was responsible for, the cell phones going down. I'm not saying they were responsible. I'm saying it's possible. It's possible. We have people that are well connected in this country that have the ability to do it. Now, why would they do it? Why would they shut down cell phones? Why would they make it harder for people to get medicine? Because again, they can force rage on people and they can weaponize it and they can point to Russia and they can say, you know what, we have to do something now. They can create a straw man, in other words. They can remove options, right? Cash, physical media, etc. They can remove these things with kill switches, right? Everything is tying into the grid for a reason. And in my humble opinion, it's not the same reason that Greta Thunberg claims. Okay. In my opinion, it's about total control. They can shut things down until compliance is met. And I think we saw this during the 19. I think that's a fair statement. They can shut down cell phones, medical assistance, and access, meaning you can't go unless you're part of the system. I like the show Gunsmoke. A lot of y'all long timers know this, right? But we're long past the days of Doc coming to your house and doing house calls. Now, when you go and you see a doc or you go to the hospital, it's all digital. They have the ability to shut that down. They have the ability to force you into the system if you want that sort of access. Look at banking. Look at where banking's heading. You know, do you really think it's going to be much more convenient not to use cash? Or do you think it's about controlling what people are able to spend and access? I think it's a fair point. Total control of the population. The thing I need people to understand this morning, after I pull this up, thank you, Steph L, for all the support. I believe nothing I hear from the higher ups at this point. I don't either. The truth will not be told. Speculate always. Well, I'm not saying I'm absolutely right, but I do think that there are people, that are in control. But I don't think Biden's running. I'm just going to say it. Uh, RCX, thank you very, very much for that super chat. So, what I need people to understand this morning is there are people that are running things, Steph L. And to these people, the ends always justify the means. If they need to accomplish something, they do not have an issue taking large buildings out. We saw this on 9/11. That's my personal opinion. All right. They do not have a problem introducing the 19, weaponizing it. They do not have a we're collateral damage. You know what I mean? Bamatai, oh my God. Maybe at some point, I don't know. The ends always justify the means to these people because they're not struggling. They're not dealing with what we're being put through. Do you honestly think during the 19 that the elites that are well connected, do you think they were living by the same set of rules? Do you think they were wearing two-faced diapers and they were only allowed to leave their homes on certain days? No. Come on, man. They were living their life and we were being subjected to it because, again, we're collateral damage. And if you don't think our government is capable of stuff like this, you haven't been paying attention. You really haven't. Because you can go out, back historically and you can look at a lot of examples. Again, why did we get tied up in World War One, which was a huge war in Europe? Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you, right? They just created a straw man and said we need to go. Why did we get tied up into the Second World War? Well, Pearl Harbor. But if you study Pearl Harbor, you see that there were warning signs everywhere. It almost feels like it was allowed to happen, then it was weaponized. Again, my opinion. Why did we go to war in Vietnam? Why did we go to war with Saddam? I mean, they never found anything they claimed was over there. Why were we in Afghanistan for 20 years? Why are we in Europe right now? Why are we in the Middle East right now? You understand? You haven't been paying attention. Our government will do whatever it wants to do, and it will force you to believe that you're on the right side of things. And because of this, I believe major shutdowns are coming, which is why I named the video as such. Now, when these shutdowns come, I think they're going to hit banking. I think they're going to hit, the medical industry. I definitely think they're going to take the grid offline, maybe the power and stuff like this. Again, maybe not nationwide. It may just be regional hits and stuff. Um, but they're laying the groundwork in mainstream media. They're telling you this stuff is going to be coming. I saw an article yesterday. It's going to be 1,000 times worse the next time around. They were pointing at China, you know, and maybe our foreign enemies are behind it. I'm not going to discount that. Maybe they are totally behind everything that's going on, but maybe not. I try and keep an open mind about it. Maybe it's being done by elites here in the swamp, and then they're going to use that anger. They're going to weaponize it against the enemies so they can justify all of these conflicts that we got going on, all the funding that's needed. In other words, don't get baited into supporting a war just because you want to get your normal back. Right? People get addicted to stuff and they want it back. My phone keeps going offline. I can't access the internet. When I do pull up the news, I'm told that it's the president of Russia's fault. Therefore, we need to go to war. Don't get baited into that through a fallacy. Okay, just don't. Have a backup plan for every major outage. That would be, as a prepper, that would be my 2 cents this morning. Do you have a backup plan in case the electric grid goes offline? I don't think it's going to go offline for 20 years. I mean, maybe, you never know, but it could go off for a couple of months. It could go off for a couple of weeks. You have a backup plan for that. Backup plan for water. You have that. How did the solar flare on a round Earth affect the dark side and not the side of, come on, man, you already took me down the hole yesterday. I'm already thinking my head's still spinning, brother. But that's an excellent point. Uh, online. Can you live without online? A lot of people, they'll even tell you, oh, I can't live without my cell phone. I can't live without the internet. Sure you can, but it's going to take an adjustment. You got to get used to it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shut it off sometimes. Medicine. Now, this is a big one. People were panicking yesterday because of the pharmacy deal, and I totally understand. Um, there's certain things you can stockpile as a prepper that are going to have similar effects. There's certain natural ways of doing things. Do you have extra cash on hand? Every single time it happens, man. Every single time a bank goes down or bank websites go offline or something like that, people start panicking. Oh my God, all of my money is in the bank. Well, first of all, your money's not in the bank. That in itself is a lie. But they begin to wonder, how am I going to shop? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I have some cash on hand? I know that's hard in Joe's America. People don't have a lot of cash. I don't have a lot of cash, right? But I'm not going to keep what I have in the bank. Maybe a little bit, maybe enough to cover a few things that come out. Exactly, Sally. Extra cash, what's that? Um, but try to keep cash on hand just in case. Barterable items as well, but especially cash, because even when things go down, the banking goes down. Some of your major stores aren't going to be able to do business. Some of your smaller stores, mom and pops, they're used to taking cash, and they'll be able to do it, because they need cash. No food delivery. Again, getting back into New York City and stuff like this, it can happen anywhere, though, folks. What's your backup plan? You got more than 2 days worth of food in the fridge? This sort of thing. Um, Checking all these boxes and having a backup plan for all this stuff takes the control away from the elites. You know what I'm saying? If if they have you addicted to the grid and they have everything tied into the grid and your existence depends on the grid, they own you. You're in chains at that point. I mean, that's the most politically correct way I can say it. You're in chains at that point. Um, but if you have a backup plan for everything and you can remove yourself from the grid and survive, they have no control over you at that point. Not unless they come to your door and forcefully try and remove you. And some people are gonna have issues with that. I'm just saying. But anyway, let me get to giving some memberships out. Again, thank y'all very much for tuning in and stuff like this. This is done totally random. So I'm gonna click it. It's gonna say gift out X amount of memberships, and it's going to default and give it to people that do not have one already. If you, oh my gosh, what happened to chat? There we go. If you get gifted a membership, that's awesome. Check the membership tab here on YouTube. There's already a link. There's already a second lobby. People are sitting in it. I saw Raven P over there earlier, sitting in the lobby. So, here we go. Here we go. And I think I'm doing it right here. There we go. So people that got gifted, congratulations. Hopefully I'll see you around lunchtime today. We're going to be talking about AI on that. And, for the folks that don't have a membership, that's okay. It will replay some point next week. But I sincerely appreciate everybody being here, and maybe shoot thumbs up or down, whatever, on your way out the door. Y'all take care and God bless.